Yeah, let's hear what this pastor said. You're gonna like it. Make sure you watch it to the end.
For money. Secondly, it means realizing that the greatest wealth on earth is wealth towards God. The greatest wealth on earth is wealth towards God. No man is truly rich who is poor spiritually. Nobody is truly rich who is poor spiritually, who has spiritual poverty and bankruptcy. That the greatest wealth on earth is wealth towards God. That is where we're in the days when God is about to produce millionaires and billionaires. And if you look at them, you thought they were pastors. Until they told you, if they open their mouth to speak, that the greatest wealth is wealth towards God. Thirdly, quality relationship is realizing, number three, that beyond this life, money means nothing. Beyond this life, money means nothing. No matter how rich you are, no matter the kind of car you drive, by the time you close your eyes in death, money means nothing. Beyond this life, money means nothing. That was the fall. That is they have confirmed you as the richest man in the world, and that doesn't move you as far as your relationship with God is concerned, because you know that beyond this life, money means nothing. Number four, quality relationship with God is realizing that judgment in eternity shall not be based on the size of a man's bank account, but on the strength of impact. That judgment in eternity is not based on the size of your bank account, but on the strength of your impact. What impact did you make on it? How many lives did you touch? Who is helped because you are rich? Who got saved because you are rich? Realizing that judgment in eternity shall not be based on the size of a man's bank account, but on the strength of impact, on your relationship with God, quality relationship with God. Number five, quality relationship with God means realizing that money is not an end in itself, but a means to an end. Money is not an end in itself, but a means to an end. Money is not the end objective of pursuit. Once you got the money, you got it to do what? To show the world that you are rich? To become materialistic? One man came to my life, to my office while we were in Area 1, and showed me his wristwatch then, that was worth $1 million. Hello? And he was not lying. He had the money, $1 million. That is like 500 million naira of today. That was on his hand, on his wrist. Nothing may be wrong with that. If he has had generational impact on the kingdom and on the earth, that is far in excess of that. Realizing that money is not an end in itself, but the means to an end. That is what quality relationship with God means. So the most important thing about kingdom prosperity or supernatural supply is quality relationship with God. That was number four. Now number five, quality love relationship with God will always translate into generosity and liberality towards God. It will always translate into generosity and liberality towards God. It will translate. First Chronicles chapter 21 verse 1 to 5. all the way to verse 5. Right, let's shift it to First Chronicles chapter 29, verse 1 to 5. 29. Furthermore, King David said unto all the congregation, Solomon my son, whom alone God has chosen, is yet young and tender, and the work is great, for the palace is not for man but for the Lord God. Now I have prepared with all my might for the house of my God gold for things to be made of gold. Now move to verse 3. He said, moreover, because I have set my affection to the house of my God, I have of my own proper good, silver, gold, and everything laid up for the house. That is my affection. Produce my donation and contribution. Genesis chapter 22, verse 1 to 17, actually, when God tempted Abraham, if you love me, give me your son, your only son, Isaac. 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 1 to 2. 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and in verse 1 to 2. Moreover, brethren, we do you to wit of the grace of God bestowed on the churches of Macedonia, how that in a great trial of affliction, the abundance of their joy and their deep poverty abounded unto the riches of their liberality. If you read further down, the Bible said, first of all, they gave God their heart. Relationship with God. John chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave. It will translate into liberality and generosity. Some time back, my wife was asking me to sign a check for my children's different things, school fees, this and that, accommodation and so on. And I finished signing it. And then she said, thank you for easily and effortlessly releasing this for the children. I said, why are you thanking me for the welfare of my own children? He said, oh, you need to know what other mothers pass through when it is time to ask for school fees or ask for this or that. You need to know their children. I said, no, I'm not like that. For me, if God needs it, except I don't have it. And if secondly, family needs it, it's except I don't have it. I can trick, but they can drive, if need be. So there is nowhere that love is real that it does not translate into liberality. It translates into massive generosity. That is very, very important, but we'll come to that later. All these are by way of introduction. Is that point number 5 or 6? Number 5. Number 6, the highest form of giving is the giving of one's heart to God. Is the giving of one's heart to God. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 26. My son, give me your heart. This is the highest form of seed. My son, give me your heart, and let thine eyes observe my ways. When God conquers your heart, there is nothing about you he won't conquer. When God has conquered the heart of a man, he can conquer everything. He has conquered everything about you. That was what we saw about the Macedonians in 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 1 all the way to verse 5. The Bible said they were able to give because they first gave themselves to God. The highest form of giving is the giving of one's heart to God. God conquered my heart many years ago. 7. The tithe is not just a giving, but an obligation for covenant connection. It's not, you can give first fruit, you can give other things, but the tithe is not just a giving, but an obligation for covenant connectivity. Genesis chapter 14 from verse 14 to 21, we saw Abraham's